Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the GAIA Daily for December 21st through 25th, 2020. Wow, what an intense time we're in. We just had this great conjunction a couple of hours ago. And now just the last few minutes, we had the closest of this exact greater conjunction, and the solstice was a few hours ago. So actually 8 hours ago was the exact solstice. So we are in it, and the message right now is to don't worry, don't think too much about what's happening or try to figure it out again, of course, because we're in a very intense multiple level shift right now. And we're kind of in that place of the eye of the storm. And it feels like the forces and the timelines are like in a gridlock. And the energy really fits this next 3 days, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. We have Jupiter and Saturn are exact, less than 1 degree apart. And we've got Mars square Pluto, less than 1 degree apart, and Uranus conjunct Black Moon Lilith. And so it's a chokehold energy. It's like a bloom of the whole year. And it's almost like, this new energy is coming in. It's like that floodgates of higher frequency vibrational energy. And yet there's this kind of massive resistance to that energy, And so it totally fits the astrology. So just don't think too much or come to any conclusions about what's happening over until, like the end of the week, because we're in this very strange in between, like we've been in between, for so long, these timeline war and all this stuff. But right now it's like this strange gridlock. So it's like, sit tight and don't even judge your surroundings or your world till the end of the week, because we're in this strange place, because one of these transits, of course, just the greater conjunction, is just this massive thing. But these 3 transits together are so huge, and they speak exactly to where we're at. And so we're in this place of in between, timelines, in between worlds. We've been working so hard, supernova souls, you've done such a great job. And there's definitely an energy of like an exhaustion, of like not realizing how much energy work you have been doing to support this project, and kind of this feeling of defeat. Like, are we ever going to get anywhere? This is exactly the energy today, because Mars is square Pluto in Capricorn. And so it's like a bloom of the Capricorn blockages, energies of no, you don't, and limits and restrictions. And that's exactly what's happening. It's like the cosmic winds are trying to blow down the old house, because Mars square Pluto is about breaking down the old, clearing the way. And so it's like these galactic winds are coming in. But the old, it's like the demo project is like not letting go. The old controls are not letting go, but they know they've already lost, but they're going to fight to the death. And we're in that fight to the death part, where it's got to be like a strangulation, which is interesting because it feels like, the mechanisms that are being used right now in all of the technological interference and things that are set up to block our ability to receive these vibrational frequencies have the effect of interfering with the amount of oxygen in our atmosphere and our ability to uptake oxygen. And isn't that interesting? Because it's really about right now, what's really happening is the dark forces that have controlled humanity and the earth since Atlantean time are cornered. But what we're feeling is like this, like you can't breathe, it's like it's like this holding on, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Nobody knows what's up from down. It doesn't it only looks worse, every day it looks worse. Like, how much crazier could it get? How much more sleep could people get? How are we going to get out of this one? And that's exactly this energy right now, and it's going to be this way for the next few days. And so just kind of sit tight in this, because you've done your work and you're right here. And all you need to worry about right now is making yourself feel as good as you can make yourself feel. Taking care of yourself and loving yourself and honoring all that you've gone through to be here right now, and we made it. And don't let anything, it's really a time to insulate yourself from the play of the garbage lower matrix reality, because it's like comical right now, entertainment, but as a supernova soul, it's an affront to your consciousness. What's going on in the world right now is a deliberate attack on your spiritual sovereignty. And they want you to feel like you've lost and it's hopeless and give up. Don't even try, And so what's going on right now is to be aware of this chokehold in between, waiting for the shoe to drop. There's a feeling whenever things get intense energetically, there's this feeling of supernova soul, like I got to do something to fix it or help it or heal it. And this is the shift that's happened for us with the solstice energies, is it's like, you did it. We made it here. Like, you showed up, you made it here. You've done the work. You did your part. And now we got to let the chips fall where they will, So when you get that feeling, know that that's this old stuff clearing out of the old paradigm. And the medicine for it is to be like, okay, I made it here, and I need to just cherish and honor my being, and like prioritize your life into that radical self-care. This is a good energy because, okay, so, we've got this greater conjunction. They came into their exact just a few minutes ago, into their closest 0.1 degree apart. So massive. Now, these massive transits, though, you don't feel them right away. You feel them right away, but the fallout of this transit, of course, can go for 10, 20 years, because that's how long it is in between these transits. But the main energy that still needs to resolve in January and February is that Saturn and Jupiter will each come into a square with Uranus and Taurus. And Black Moon Lilith is right there for the one with Jupiter. So we are kind of in this suspended thing of like, now we have to, the dominoes are starting to fall, and there's like a whole crew of drones holding up that first domino, It's like, so it's a very strange time, and just don't take anything seriously. Don't pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to your inner life and how to take care of yourself right now. What do you need to thrive in the moment, and just focus there, because what we were shown in the solstice event is that we are, by just breathing and living and being and allowing ourselves to feel okay right now, we're building new earth with every step we take, and it's not a time to beat yourself up about what you haven't accomplished, or that your life isn't going the way you want it, or the world isn't going the way you want it. That does not apply right now. Right? So what you want to watch is when you get pulled into the old, because we're suspended in between the old and the new. The old is more comfortable, even though it feels like dog shit, but it's like, we want to, come back into that moment, come back into living and breathing with new earth energy. The new mother is what she revealed to us, fully established in the 5D. And so we're, if you find yourself pulled back in, because of course, everything that's trying to hold the stack of cards from falling and hold that old barn from blowing down in the wind and holding that first domino, it's also trying to hold you back down in the lower matrix. But you've already escaped. Well, don't play that game, you know? And so just like give yourself a few days to just disconnect from as much as you can, because it's like all of the energy is trying to pull every single soul back down in the matrix. It's like we're this close to one more person freeing themselves and pushing the tide. You know, it already really happened, but it's like there's just this massive, chokehold on the planet. And so just sit tight and know that you've done it. You're here. You made it. There's this definitely a strange time thing. So when you are noticing that if you get pulled into that lower vibrational frequency, that has to do with time. And it's like there's this mystery of the loop in the past, this trauma loop, that this is how the control energies have kept us in the lower matrix, is this trauma loop. And stuck in time, right? Like, because time, when they study time in physics, it's totally crazy, but it's like in quantum physics, it's like time reverberates out to the forward and backwards, like, to the past and future. And so it's almost like the quarantine we've been in has been it's like blocking the future, right? Keeping us in the same old stories. And that's exactly this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Because through history, it's like the same things playing out again and again. It's like, you know what? No, we're not playing that game anymore. We are already wise to the fact that we are exalted spiritual beings, and we're not playing by those rules anymore. They do not apply. But with these big energies coming in, the pattern throughout time has been to try to block and oppress these energies, right? Negative creating of events in order to keep the vibration from ever going beyond the lower matrix energies. And this is kind of where we're at right now. It's like that they're cornered. They can't pull anything off. They've tried, so much stuff has tried to happen in this last period of time of like dark creation energies, false flags, and it's like, it's not working. We're not going there, And so they're playing all their cards though, right? And it's like, go ahead and play all your cards. We're going to sit tight and know that we already turned the corner into this light. But this current astrology makes it feel like we're always going to be stuck here in this in-between time, and I guess that's where the Uranus Black Moon Lilith energy comes in, because for the supernova soul especially, Taurus rules our self-worth and our ability to value ourselves. And so the shadowy energies that are coming up for the supernova soul are just the same old story we've been talking about all year. Like, do you deserve it? And for some reason, it's way more comfortable to feel that, to deserve the control and the darkness and the loops and the past, right? And then stepping into the new earth energy, you have to go naked with all of your ego constructs and all of your ideas about who you are, what you're supposed to do, what you didn't do, what you're, just deep feelings of, with a Sagittarius South Node activated, deep feelings of failure and not deserving. And so notice that, because if you do get pulled into the lower energies, it's pointing directly to the leftover distortion on this level, because Black Moon Lilith is the deepest, darkest secrets. It's the apogee of the moon, like the furthest away the moon gets from Earth. And it's the dark side of the moon, it's like dark hidden secrets. And, I think it's so interesting that the disclosure is happening all over the place. There's this plays happening of these events and, just total confusion. But the Space Force announcements, the first birthday of the Space Force, like their announcement, their little video talks about how foreign entities have built dark projects on the dark side of the moon. And it's like, wait a minute, all of a sudden this is common knowledge that there's, there's like foreign, we know we have bases there too, right? But all of a sudden this is just out there, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, dark side of the moon. We don't even know if we actually sent an astronaut to the moon, and now we find out there's whole space systems up there, right? And it's just out there, just thrown out there in this video. Like, very interesting. So this is Black Moon Lilith. It's dark side of the moon. It's what's been hidden from us. It's the deepest, darkest, scariest places within you, in the world, and it's got to get revealed and healed in order to move into the new. So we've got Mars square Pluto, ego breakdown of the structures of authority, where we've given our power away, where we've given our life force away, where we've allowed ourselves to live in the false reality, and that house of cards. Pluto is like, Pluto is not gonna, it's gonna knock over the house of cards, right? It's like the wrecking ball. It's those galactic winds. It's something from the future we don't understand, which is like wiping away that clean slate. So what if we're in that moment of this clean slate, and it's like halfway through, this energy starting to come, where it's almost like a whole table full of those knickknacks and things you've kept and held on to, the stories of your life and your lifetimes, concepts of your personality constructs and ego constructs, and the whole world's constructs of who we think we are. And it's about to just be wiped off of the table clean, and we're like, ooh, and in those times of in between, it's so much easier to go back to the old, right? But it hurts too much too. You'll be like, oh, how did I get here? Oh, I see, it's pointing to these last remnants of my low self-worth issues with all these stories and all this stuff. And now I'm going to go just take care of myself and come back into the moment and know that this is just a very strange week, and I'm not going to get attached to what's happening or how I feel, because we're in this has been the whole energy all year. It's so dynamic. These changes coming in, these transits, it's like the light coming in, and yet the control energies want us to stay absolutely stagnant. So the bloom of this, right before the shit goes down, is like this pressure, of this new and the light and the vibration. Uranus is the awakener. It's a higher vibrational frequency that disrupts old patterns. So Uranus is definitely associated with space, like it's out there, and it's a vibrational technology. And interesting that Uranus, Black Moon Lilith, right? Because it's the darkest secrets coming to light that need to come to light in order for us to move forward. Mars square Pluto, the ego constructs, personality constructs, lower matrix constructs that are keeping us from moving forward. Gotta go. And then Jupiter, Pluto, it's like the baby Jesus. It's like, hello, a rebirth of Christ consciousness on the planet. And we're just kind of like, and the whole thing that, really exploring why, where are we at, and what is this process about? These major spiritual changes have been happening for a long time, but we are trying to do this shift with minimal disruption, right? Like, it's taking a long time. We're trying to get as many souls on board as we can. We're trying to do it without, loss of life. And so it's like we're in a very strange thing where it's like, that the dark monster control energy is like, it's lost. It's like it's no longer viable, but it still has a grip, right? We gotta like pry it off of our new world and try to bring humanity along with us, which is why we're having this uncomfortable place of like, okay, you guys, this is your time to wake up. Like, is this what you want? Do you want to be told that you can't leave your house and wear a mask for a lie. Oh, there's a second way. Oh, a second mutation. Oh, and more vaccinations and more microchips and more restrictions. And oh, now we're going to take your search results and make a social credit score from what you look at on the internet. We decide, right? This is what's been going on in China for a while. And oh, no, not in the US. That wouldn't happen, right? And it's like, we're right around the corner from absolute tyranny police state, you know? And we're like, come on, you guys, are you going to wake up? Are we going to wake up? Are we going to, do you want this? Is this what you want? Put your freaking mask on. And like, for like this sheeple, it's like, oh, the miracle, Christmas miracle, the vaccination, you know? And then they've had to like stop giving the vaccination because of all of the side effects. Shit's going down. We cannot go this way anymore. So don't get caught up in it, right? Like, it's not your world. And they want you to, the last card to play against you and the light workers is to make you think you lost, right? And then we got to go to the art of war, which is like, when you're losing, act like you're winning. When you're winning, act like you're losing, right? So we don't know what's going on. But we know we can't continue. This is the astrology right now. It's like, can't do it. You know, like we're those timelines coming together, trying to separate, you know, and so it's all about you and insulating yourself and your self-care and going into this place of the rebirth. And so it's almost like we've had this cosmic rebirth right now with these events, but that baby is like still kind of all just swaddled in blankets and sleeping all the time. You can't like hang out and interact with this baby yet. You got to protect that baby. You got to feed that baby, keep them warm, you know, just it's like we're in this incubation period of time because we're still in this timeline, you know, so the solstice means the sun moves over to Capricorn. Mercury and the sun together moved over to Capricorn. And so Mercury and the sun moving to Capricorn, there are personal planets. So now we're getting our personal experience of what the 2020 bigger planets in Capricorn have been about, right? So January is where we sort out the mess and the timelines and the worlds and everything. And the timeline of this is that Mars comes out of its retrograde shadow right at the end of the year, at Christmas, the day after Christmas, but then still has its square with Jupiter and Saturn, right? And that's going to be, so then it moves into Taurus in the beginning of the year and will come into square. It moves into Taurus on the 7th of January, and then will come into square with Saturn and Jupiter. So the Mars retrograde energy that started back in July will not complete until the end of January. Now, at the same time that Mars comes into a square, Mars comes into a conjunction with Uranus and then squares Jupiter and Saturn. So these are the energies of January, and then with the sun and Mercury in Capricorn, and it's like trying to sort out. So this is about us taking our power back. It's a positive aspect of Capricorn, hard work paying off. Don't let that defeat energy get you. That's the point right now. That's what's being fed into our reality. You know, try to hold you down in the lower matrix. It's like, oh, all your work and everything you've done is just never going to get anywhere. The earth is doomed, right? And so know that that's the mechanism being used right now. And you'd be like, oh, that's not my thoughts. That's not my feelings. That's the program. And it shows you exactly what triggers you into the lower matrix, right? And pull yourself back in the moment, pull yourself outside of time. The big energy in the solstice events was this energy of like, we've been stuck in that past time and we got to go where it's a totally different relationship to time that we're moving into. And you feel this, it's strange, right? And so you got to pull, when you're in the lower matrix vibration, that means you've got pulled back into that time mechanism construct that no longer suits you. And so you got to pull yourself back into the outside of time place where it's like everything, because really we don't have time. Everything that's ever happened is happening right now. So we got to go to that right now place. And Mother Earth, new mother, Gaia, is established, and she's outside of time, and she's kind of saying, come on over here and hang out with me. Let's do this. And it was a really cool picture that came through the solstice events around where she's been holding our hand in this paradigm. It's like, okay, the earth, and if you can connect in, it's like, okay, the earth is here, I'm here, and then the new paradigm, the new earth energies, it's like she's enveloping us like like holding us, that the energy of earth is a field. It's not a physical rock thing we're trying to maintain an energetic connection to. It's like walking in the arms of the mother, So, just kind of here we are, right? These two timelines of like, the earth is doomed, you failed, why even bother, defeat, get me off this planet. And then like, oh, outside of time, breathing with, feeling the health and loved, walking with Mother Earth in this field of this new energy that's available to us. So just keep that in mind. It's almost like as these timelines come together, they're both intense, and, it has to be that way so that we really make the choice in our individual will. And then when you're triggered into that lower timeline energy, you can identify the trigger, right? Be like, oh, there's that thing again. And I'm going to go let new mother hold me, and wash us all away. But with this Black Moon Lilith, the darkest secrets getting awakened, the dark side of the moon being shown, the breaking down of all the ego constructs, and that's the thing that's just like astrology. When you get in the lower timeline, it's like the astrology does not support this. Yes, we're in the shoe, waiting for the shoe to drop, but can't stay like this. Can't stay like this. And you can't survive in that lower timeline anymore, And so we got to release. It's like that, separating out the monster from the truth of who we really are. And it can feel excruciatingly painful. So we're going back and forth between those waves of new spiritual light, hope, energies, and then, So just know that that's the deal. And so for January until the 21st, the 20th, it's the 20th that the sun moves over into Aquarius. And so this next month is about sorting out these timelines, and sorting out the ramification of the cards falling and all of this stuff. It's kind of like we've come to the end of the road. We cannot go any further. And this is exactly what this astrology says. I mean, it's intense. So it's weird, the feeling that's coming of like immobilization, stuck, waiting for the shoe to drop, in between, isolated, and that's just extremely temporary. And it's actually evidence of the massive changes that are coming. They're just, we can't get anywhere around it. It's an elephant in the room, And so just hang in there. Know that behind the backdrop of this whole thing is that Neptune is in this exact square with the nodes. Let's see. They come into exact square. Actually, in January. And so actually right after the sun moves into Aquarius is when Neptune is an exact square to the nodes. So Neptune is about Christ consciousness. It's about higher vibration. It's about the oneness principle, feeling connected. It's about also, though, the spiritual energies, but also delusional energies and confusion about what's real and what's not real. So, wow. And we've been having this for a couple of months, and it'll continue. Actually, it pretty much comes off by the mid-February. And so, but just know that this backdrop, it's like we got to use that to our advantage and dream this new dream, and be nice to yourself, be gentle with yourself. Don't beat yourself up for getting sucked into the old right now, because it's showing you everything you need to know about your triggers and the deeper traumas that need to be healed. We can't take our trauma body with us, right? That's got to get resolved. And Mars square Pluto is like trauma body, right? And this is where we're at, where there's that timeline war, and it's like the negative creating really wants to take us in the trauma, deep into trauma, and everything they've tried hasn't worked, even though it looks like we're losing. And so massive, just for these next 3 days, nothing's going to make sense. Nothing's going to line up. There's not a lot of movement information. It's like the gridlock place. And so just don't judge any experience, and take care of yourself. Give yourself time to live and breathe in the new, and understand that what you're feeling, a lot of people, like if you're feeling that lower matrix energies, your sensitivity, your awareness, it's like the fight of the serpent monster. You're tapping into the feelings of the death. What it's making me think of when you do say you have a parasite issue, and there's parasites, pretty much everybody has them, right? It's like a big issue of our world, and a big issue. It's very much energetically, this a metaphor for what's on the planet, right? This parasitic reality. But when you do a parasite cleanse, you will go through a period of time, of feeling very dark energies. It's the death of that life inside of you. And so we're at this point where it's like humans, can we go through this process and take back our life, our body, our life force, our earth, or are we going to let the parasite win? And of course we know we already won, but it's like we're feeling energetically the death process. Even though you don't want that around, you don't want the monster in your life, but we're all, our DNA, our cellular structure, the disease, layers of disease in our feet, in our bodies. And it's like, so that might be helpful metaphor to kind of understand, because there's like a deep, dark depression that comes, so you can have the parasites and not even know. You just have symptoms like you're tired all the time. It's like feeding on your energy. Does this fit? Right? Like, this is exactly what's been going on, for these light worker souls and the narcissist relationships and the forces of this world trying to feed on your light and power. And you go along that way, and it's not a problem. It has to come into a crisis. And they're like, oh, I've got a parasite. I got it, and then if you do the parasite cleanse, you're going to, as that cleanses out, you're going to feel way better after. But as it cleanses out, there's a deep, dark depression and a death process. You're feeling the death of those organisms within you. You don't want to feed them, but you're still feeling the death. And this is where this is the energy that's pulling us back in. You might be feeling this collective grief and pain and distortion and death process of this multi-headed monster, because you're just sensitive to energies. And so that's kind of helpful to have that metaphor, because that's what I feel like is going on. It's like, wait a minute, I thought this was all bringing in the light, and I'm feeling worse than I felt, so just know that. And that's also these timelines. It's like we have to ride out these two timelines very, very close together, and I don't know exactly what we're coming together. We're splitting, who knows what's happening, but the astrology is saying we can't go on the way we're going. And we've already made that fundamental shift, but now we have to, the monster is, in its death throes. And if you feel like death, then maybe you're sensing that energy. And maybe it's a time, there's definitely super high frequency vibrations coming in right now, and the Schumann resonance off the charts, and that causes kind of a detox reaction. So it's almost like we're all being cleansed of this, and maybe we can support that along with our self-care, and being aware of this process on that level. And because all of the mechanisms of control from my research and what's come to light of the technological controls, and the biological weapons in our body. And, you know, it all is dependent on microbes. So when we can cleanse out sugars and grains, things that like are going to feed those microbes, and take a break from, and put in really cleansing, healthy, fresh enzymatic, you know, like vegetable juices or whatever, and teas and things to cleanse out. And a lot of times, like, that dark feelings will go away completely. You know, it's coming back to that parasite cleanse. You know, this is the best way to take back your psychic reality, I found, when you really are getting pulled down into that feeling of being psychologically attacked. It's almost like we're all having this right now, because they're playing all of their last cards. They're using all their ammunition right now to keep out this spiritual light. And then it's like, oh, that feels so frustrating, doesn't it? Feels like we can't win against this monster. It's everywhere. You know, it's infected everyone. We've got robots now. People are robots. What happened? And it's like, but you are the light. You can be the source of the light. This is what we're being pushed into, it's like, okay, block out the sun, you know, and these higher frequency vibrations. And it's like, yeah, but what happens when they start emanating from our heart? No wonder you're being so attacked, you know, and that shit's real. But it's all right now pushing you to sprout your seed, come into your power. And I have to say, like, maybe the cleansing is a way to take back your power right now. Self-care, not paying attention to what's going on, not getting affected, not getting sucked in to the drama, and creative activity. You know, if you're feeling immobilized, a lot of people feeling immobilized, stuck, because we're so clueless about what's coming. And here we've gotten to this big date and nothing's changing. And how do we get a grip on our life? And what are we even doing here? You know? And it's like, prioritize, just make yourself do a creative project. That's the medicine right now. You know, this creation energy. And we've got to start actively, you know, 2021 for the supernova souls, actively seeking out these soul group members. You know, because when two or more, and so no wonder they want to socially distance, because we are having a birth of Christ consciousness as a field available to us on the planet. And you are here to embody that energy, and it feels freaking amazing. You know, so it's like we're kind of in this black and white. You know, you can go to the dark side and let the parasite win, or we can stand up in our light and truth and autonomy. And that's a big deal with the January astrology, because that Sun, Mercury, and Capricorn, this is when it comes personal, the Capricorn energy, and it's about taking back our autonomy and our power as spiritual beings here in this energy. Nothing outside of you, especially not that parasitic control mechanism, has power over you anymore. No. We have the power. We have the life force, and there's so many more of us, you know, and this is this thing, like, how crazy does it need to get, you know? And so anyway, happy solstice, happy greater conjunction. Here we are right here in this moment. Sit tight and let's see what the world looks like this weekend for Christmas, right? So, thanks so much for being here and being on the planet and being you and making it through. Just love, love, love yourself. Take care of yourself, sending love and blessings. And remember that we're all here together, and live and breathe in that new energy as much as you can. Get creative, put the world aside, put all that holiday crap aside. Just live for you right now, and dream this new dream. Let yourself dream this new dream. It's a new year, new possibilities. Everything right now is about the chokehold battle of the old. And you've already done that. So, okay, well, let's stay in touch. Have a great week. I'll be in touch on Friday. We'll see what things look like from the other side. And just hang in there, because you are the light. and you are the hope, and you are, you've got everything inside of you that we need, and you need, and this world needs. And so I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.